Hey guys, this is DFD, aka Dark Frozen Deaths, back with another Kamihime project video. Before I get started with this video, I do have a few things to point out. First off, I'm going to put a Discord link down in the pinned comment. That's a Discord link to my Union Discord. You can get help with this game. You can get help with some other games too. I play like Legend Clover and Art World and a few other things. Occasionally, there's even streams of me and even some other people streaming some games. So check that out if you're curious about that. If I want to do any serious streams, they'll be on YouTube. I don't mess with Twitch, sadly, because they're way too restrictive, especially compared to YouTube. But I may stream some games again or whatever, but it depends. But there are specific games I do play that I can't really show on YouTube, so you want to see those pretty much uncensored and uncut. It'll have to get streamed to that Discord. So feel free to join that. Again, there's union only stuff that's sectioned off, but if you happen to join a union too, you'll get access to that as well. But another thing too, before this video starts, this event doesn't have too much info, so this is going to be a really quick one. So unfortunately, I can't really give too much info about the enemy details. It's just typical stuff you can easily just take a glance at and immediately know. So unfortunately, I can't really get that, but there is info on the stuff you get from the event. So there you go with that. And also in game they've screwed up on quite a few things. There's a new just two new quality of lives that are actually pretty good. The first one lets you set multiple favorite characters. If you've seen that little face icon on the main screen, it immediately goes to a black screen. I don't know if they fixed it at the time of this video, but that's supposed to let you set your favorites, even favorites of the same girl. So yeah, good luck with that one until they fix it. The other one's a little bit more manageable if you know what to do, but it still shouldn't be that way. They changed how the status screen looks on your party, so if you go into your party and check your skill list, it gives actual percentages for all that stuff, which is much more convenient. They didn't translate it. Yeah, so we gotta wait for that too. Unless you want to try and look up what the Japanese characters are, or use some sort of like auto translator or whatever. I don't know, but those are two very big quality of life changes that they've done, because you can customize your main screen a lot more, and on top of that, you get more info on your characters. But finally getting into this event, it's a Thunder event. If you're like me and have a Fox Girl fetish, you're gonna want this at no one, so keep that in mind. But they've changed a few things about how some of this stuff works, so we'll go over that. First and foremost, you need to be specific difficulty in order to get specific rank in order to get access to different difficulties. So simply put, just try and be rank 100 so you can do everything. And it's not that hard. I mean, they recommend 53,000 combat power, but you'll probably have that much by the time you even take on a Ragnarok Plus stage, because you should have your ultimate grid at least done, maybe even a Guardian one. But basically, these recommended combat powers, you can ignore them. They're probably what you'll have by the time you get a proper grid going, but you can easily beat something like Ultimate at, say, like 15,000 power, if you know what you're doing. But also, they somehow give a drop rate stuff for, not really a drop rate, but what drops in, these two, which is weird. This is what I was talking about. It's, like, literally no enemy info at all. So that doesn't really help. What I can say, though, is that the bosses tend to have the same amount of HP. It's like somewhere around like 10-12 million on Ragnarok Plus. Ragnarok tends to have somewhere between 2 to 3 million, sometimes less. Ultimate tends to have around like 1 million. Expert, I think, is about 5 to 600,000, and then Standard's like a pathetic amount that you don't even really need to pay attention to. Besides, you should never be grinding on Standard anyway. Just do it for the magic jewels, and that's it. But same usual stuff you can trade for. The SSR stuff should be priority, basically. And then you're starting to need a lot of books lately. Definitely get those. On top of that too, gotcha tickets. Skill orbs is a big thing. You really need to stay on top of skill orbs. Not necessarily the other two orbs. There's a better place to grind for those if you want them. Soul points, I would say rack up on them, because in about 4 months at the time of this video will be 6th anniversary. They're going to rework a lot of different stuff from the old souls. They're going to step and also put in new souls. You're going to need more soul points, trust me. Especially mastery points if you haven't been getting them. Because there's new skills that'll pop up where it takes 100 mastery points in order to learn them each. So definitely stock up on your soul points if you're short. Cores, magic jewels, simple stuff. The cores, you may or may not need them from this. It depends, because there's other places that can drop them, like raids, but they're there if you want them. The Ori, my personal suggestion is to get it, because when you really start upgrading your stuff later on, you're going to burn through your Ori. I've already done so multiple times. So you definitely need to stay on top of that. Of course, there's guild order for that too, but definitely stay on top of your Ori. And then as ad fragments, always collect these. And it goes without saying, get the 1/10 SSR tickets. They wasn't listed on here for some reason. I think they're higher up. Okay, yeah, there they go. But definitely get the 1/10 SSR. If you're a free player and don't spend at all, those 1/10 SSR tickets are your only chance of a guaranteed SSR. Outside of like maybe a jewel gotcha that might have it. That is it. So definitely try to get those 1/10 SSR tickets. Now, as for what you can get, I actually got to click on each of those, but we'll go after that. We'll go into that after this. But basically for the missions, they changed it a bit. It's like, don't use an elixir for Ragnarok and Ragnarok Plus. So just don't use an elixir to revive yourself. If you're doing things properly, you shouldn't need an elixir at all for any content. So there you go. But typically you clear 5 times, you get some half elixirs in order to keep your stamina up. Don't worry too much about it. Just grind as much as you want. Now it's turn-based for doing the missions. So you have to beat standard in 3 turns, you have to beat expert in 5 turns, you have to beat ultimate in 10 turns. Ragnarok and Ragnarok Plus has no turn limit, so they're not going to care about your rarity when it comes to these missions anymore. So that said, just burn through these as quickly as possible. If you're somehow struggling with the turn count, something that helps is definitely a character that can hit as many enemies as possible. Easily Solomon and Medea come to mind, because they're very good for clearing this type of stuff. Paracelsus, if you have her spread attack. Then on top of that too, if you really need to burst down the enemies for ultimate, which somebody like Shingen. But by the time you have an S-class soul, you should not have an issue with the turn count. So there's that. Now, as for the stuff you get, I've already looked into the Yadoan before. She gives you 40% elemental attack. Pretty standard. She also gives you 10% defense. It's a permanent defense increase. So if you're not really using anything else special or something that's stronger, that can kind of help you out with some survivability. Defense does stack pretty well in this game if you know what you're doing, so it can act like a damage cut in place of an actual damage cut. So that said, the defense can help you out a bit. I mean, if you're using 2 copies of her, you got 20% defense right there. And that's a pretty reasonable amount of damage that gets blocked off when you stack with other things. So there you go. In fact, if the math is correct, 50% defense up counts as a permanent 33% cut. So there you go with that one. This first SSR, I don't usually need to go over the details with that one. It's just that it's the large defender and it's a small assault. It becomes medium assault when you final break it, so get it if you don't have your guardian weapons just yet, because this is better than your ultimate weapons. Or if you're really hurting on HP, because Thunder kind of lacks on HP sometimes, up until you get to the malicious. This other weapon, in my opinion, it's worth getting early on, but you're going to replace it with guardian weapons. it gives you large vigor and it also gives you a small ascension. You're not really going to get that until you start doing the guardian raids against full. So this is a good weapon early on, but you're going to replace it. So this is why I said get both SSR weapons, because they're both worth it. It's just that expect to replace this a lot faster than you replace the other one. The other one can final break, this one cannot. So that's all I can really say about that one. Now, one last thing about this too. These advent events tend to be a lot easier than the raid events when it comes to trying to grind those, because you're supposed to be doing it on your own. If you're strong enough, you can still do this with a water team, but use whatever element helps you the most on this. Even thunder against thunder, even though your debuff rates are going to suffer a bit because same element resists debuffs a bit. But generally, you need to just grind on your own, and grind pretty frequently too. Ragnarok Plus really helps with that, trust me with that. Because those 2 runs of Ragnarok Plus will be adding up quite a bit. I think that's like a total of 6 Ragnarok runs if you do both your Ragnarok Pluses. So there's that. It's like either 4 or 6 of it. But essentially just grind out, and definitely, like, at the very least, you're probably going to get the weapon that final breaks, because again, thunder kind of hurts on HP. Like, it tends to be low. My thunder team has low HP because I basically got them some guardian weapons and called it a day, because I'm more or less waiting for some later stuff down the line to fall into my lap. But basically, yeah, thunder, water. I know sometimes depending on what you go after, fire, their HP counts tend to suffer a little bit. So generally you're going to want to hopefully get some large defender that can final break, at least until you start doing malicious. So this is a good source for that, because it has a weapon that does it and give medium assault. It's better than the ultimate weapons. So there you go. And again, early vigor if you're not into guardian rages yet. So, but anyways, that's all for this. More of this is going to come soon, because I'm thinking about doing some more guides again, like redoing them, because info is definitely changed and updated and all sorts of different stuff. Plus, once we get that skill menu fixed, I'm really going to start using it for different things, just to show on screen how important your skill effects and all that can really be. But then on top of that too, there's other games I might be posting videos of as well. So there's that. But I'm definitely going to try and get more videos going up again, because I've noticed a slowdown a significant amount, and I'm sorry about that because I've been kind of busy. But I'm definitely trying to do all of that type of stuff too. But anyways, that's all for this. More of this will come soon, and take care.